on my laptop. Turns out that I pressed my camera off. So it is what it is. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Come on in. Yeah. I spent the last 10 minutes trying to figure out what the heck happened to my camera. And it was just one button on my keyboard. Can you tell I'm tired? What time were we texting yesterday, Mr. Sanctuary? How are you? What time was that? Whatever time it was. I know I was just starting. Hello, Hannah Pet. How are you? Falake. Is that supposed to be a variation of Falake? You know, that's actually my middle name. My second middle name. Falake. I am. I am. So we'll see how long we can stay tonight. Gorgeous girls, good evening. Hi, TikTok family. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Say hello. Come on in. Say hello. It was like 7. Oh, that was the day was the night was still just starting. I think I went to bed about 2:30 or thereabout. She 80736. Y'all just come up with this usernames. Like, how do y'all come up with this usernames? Because my username is just very basic. But anyway, come on in. Say hello when you come on. Let us know where you're joining in from, what state, what city, what country. We would love to meet whoever is new. If you're wondering what are they doing, this is. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me get my sick pack. Okay. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay, there we go. Because I felt like I still woke up early to drop. Not even just waking up early to drop him in school. Wake up at 6 o'clock because he had to be in school at 6:30. Hey, Finest Shandy, joining from Orlando, Florida. Thank you. Hello, Finest. They had to get to school at 6:30 because they have TJ. Yeah. What was the reason you had to be in school at 6:30 today again? What practice? I know you like every day is basketball practice. Her eyes. Long, I ain't gonna lie. She 80736 from Maryland. Welcome in. Hi, Facebook and YouTube family. Come on in, everybody. Say hello. That's 2.5. Yeah. So it's okay. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome in. Happy Tuesday. Happy end of the month. This month went by really fast. Like September, we thought August was fast. September was like, watch me. September was like, no, you ain't seen nothing yet. Watch me and see. Now tell me what was fast. But anyway, can y'all believe we've got, hello, Miss Peggy. We've got just 3 months left in 2025. Can y'all remember, like, it feels like we just started January, like yesterday. Like, for real. Like, seriously. I remember vividly still doing, a New Year's consultation promotion. It was just like yesterday. We've gone 9 months. This year has been quite an interesting year, though. It's been, knock on wood. We thank God for His grace. I had to wake up at 6 a.m. also for some school practice. We are on break this week due to some activity. Oh, wow. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, wow. But happy Independence Day. Yeah, that's true. Towards Independence Day. Fellow Nigerians, happy Independence Day in advance. We still celebrate wherever we are. We may not be living in the country for most of us here. But it is still our motherland. It is still home. Home would always be home, regardless of wherever we go. So Nigeria's going to be 65. I feel like our country should be older than that. It's just 65 years old. Like most people don't get to pay on this, side of the earth of heaven. But it is what it is. But this is Attorney Abisola Adebola Olale. I am an immigration attorney based in Olaleye Samuel. Let's add that Samuel to it. I'm an immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case stop that we handle, we'll be glad to represent you. So come on in, contact us. Our contact information is 334-341-4475. Visit our website as well at olaleyelawfirm.com. info@olaleyelawfirm.com is our email address. Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Olaleye Immigration. Subscribe, share, follow, like, whatever else to do on WhatsApp. Hey, God's favorite, how are you? Welcome, and happy Independence Day in advance to all my Nigerian brothers and sisters. Happy new month in advance to everyone. We pray that the month of October starts with grace and favor and mercy of God. Whatever it is, I keep saying it like this. And if you spend the last 9 months wondering, okay, what's going on? I've prayed, fasted, believed, whatever. People around me are getting their papers, they're getting their prayers answered. What's going on with me? Keep in mind that we serve a God that is the God of the suddenly. He does miracles just like that. He doesn't need a whole 9 months. He doesn't need 1 second. He just needs a fraction of a second to turn things around. So let your faith be louder than your fear. So, you're going to have those voices in the ears that will say, well, maybe because it's not going to be your turn this year. Maybe because you're just not part of the blessed ones, or you're not part of the anointed ones for 2025. Don't believe those lies. Keep believing that God has you. He has your name written on the palm of his hand. So that means that you are never forgotten as a child of God. It's just a matter of time. The vision is yet for an appointed time, but when your appointed time comes, nobody can rain on your parade. Trust and believe. That's just the way it is. So keep believing, keep hoping. The year is not over. There's plenty time for God to still do a miracle in your life. Plenty time for you to still give your own testimony. So do not, and see, comparison is the stealer of joy. Comparison will steal your joy. Comparison will steal your joy. Rejoice with other people, but focus on your own race. Because why are you together? So you're not going to be blessed at the same time. But don't compare their blessings to yours, because the funny thing is the blessings you're comparing, that you're looking like as, okay, I wish I had this. That blessing, the person who owns that blessing may be looking at you, wishing they were in your shoes. You just never know. So just be thankful for where you are, and just know that God is going to meet you at the point of your needs. So let's do questions tonight. If I look tired, I sound tired, I am. I ain't gonna lie tonight. I ain't gonna pretend. But I was like, yeah, I got it. It was just too late to say, okay, I ain't coming, because that's just me. But anyway, so we're just going to do questions tonight. If you've got a question, happy new month in advance to us. Yes, it's our month of divine remembrance. I love that. God will remember us all in Jesus' name, and so shall it be. So let's do questions tonight. If you've got questions, put your questions in the comment section. Hello, Mr. Professor. Responses of answers to your questions are general information, nothing specific to anyone's case. Money asks, no, when nothing actually, no. If you have a case that you need to discuss, and we need to have something more direct, more specific to your case, then you're welcome to set up a paid consultation. We've got 3 options: 30 minutes, 140, 45 minutes, 210, 1 hour to 65. And you can do that through our website, or call our office when we open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Alabama Central Standard Time. But easiest way is to go on our website or send a message to us on WhatsApp, and Lydia will respond to your text and send you the information that you need. So put your questions in the comment section. I will try the best that I can to answer them. But in the meantime, if you are from the Gambia, Zambia, and Malawi, those are 3 African countries so far that the Department of State has started. If one is effective, or 2 are effective August 20, One is going to be effective, I believe, is October. Let me see. Don't quote me on that. October 11. And that's my girlfriend's birthday. Shadi, if you're listening, that's on you. So those three African countries are going to be, so those citizens of those countries will now need to pay bonds to be able to get visitor visas. Now, the way it's going to work, according to the Department of State, is the person has to have their interview first, and the consular officer will let them know if they are required to pay for pay a bond and where they're supposed to pay it, and they're only allowed to come in through one of three ports of entry. So it's going to get, I'm telling you, this urgent. I'm telling you, it's going to get interesting. I know they're starting with those. So they say those are the three African countries so far that have the highest rate of overstays from that they have of their citizens in the United States. Just pray for your home country, because we wake up and it's one thing or the other. It's one thing or the other. It's like she can strong people in like. So they don't get tired of all these policies, and we're just still within the first year. But God is still on the throne. God is still on the throne. So, just something for you guys to know. Let's see. Is there anything else I wanted to say? Okay. So questions. Let's continue. Put your questions in the comment section. If your question is about processing time or something, please go on uscis.gov/processing time. Now, if your question is about not receiving your receipt notices from your VAWA petition or applications based on VAWA, then I think we did a post and actually did a video just giving an idea of what we're seeing. Excuse me. Cases that we filed back in April. We are just getting the receipt notices of cases filed in middle of April. So that is 5.5 months thereabout, just to help you put things in perspective. So that's what I always say. Exactly, Spanish Andy. You cannot send anything to USCIS without making sure that it is through trackable mail. You've got to have your tracking number, because back in April, I mean, going to competition case in April. We sent the if you're a client of ours, you always get it's saved, your file copy is saved in your Dropbox folder, because we use a Dropbox system. But for me, I just always love to just send a link. It's just more personable for me to a client, and also you get a link to your file, and you get a link to your tracking information. So you're not trying to figure out what did they send, or when did they send it, they sent it. No, you will get an email directly from me saying, hey, here's a copy of your file for you to download, and here's the tracking information, so you know when you can track it, when it's delivered, and all that. And so because we that's just the standard of what we do. When my clients sometimes are like, okay, Sister Les, well, like, hey, go back and see that we sent you tracking information, so that when they now finally get their notices, like Mr. O yesterday, he was able to see in the day what it corresponded with what we gave him. So make sure you've got your tracking information, because that's what we're seeing. I know that there are additional filing locations for VAWA related cases. Hold on one second, y'all. TJ. TJ. Yeah. I'm too tired for all this. Really? Hey, come back here. Close this door. And I mustn't hear. Hey. As I was saying. So, he was able to see that. So anyway, I'll say that they have additional filing locations now. So before you send out your VAWA petition, be sure to visit the USCIS website just put in the form information and filing location, where to file, and make sure that you are sending it to the right place where you're supposed to, because there are additional filing locations. And I think they're trying to combat this whole delay. But 5.5 months is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but that's just the reality of what we're seeing. So if your question is about, your VAWA receipt notices and all that, that already answers that. So there's no point, beating a dead horse. That's just a reality. So hopefully things get better. But, that's what we're saying. So if you just filed your case like in June or July, you still got a long way to go. We're just getting receipt notices for cases filed in April. So just, that helps to just put your mind at rest of it, at ease of it. Okay. All righty. Questions. Nice. Let's do questions tonight. I'm trying to dance so that I don't fall asleep. So questions tonight. What color is my glasses? I don't know. I think it's blue. Sometimes it looks purple. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I think it's bluish purple, purplish blue. I don't know. Momo. I don't know. Okay, let's get started. Hello, Kwesami Taiwo. Greetings from New Mexico. Carlsbad. Is it pronounced Carlsbad, New Mexico? Fleming. Is that how it's pronounced? Thank you for joining. Hello, Miss Christiana. How are you? How is the green card life treating you so far? Okay, so does a divorce decree problem affect a VAWA green card during naturalization? Yes, ma'am, it does. It's not about how you got your green. It's not about what type of green card you got. It's about if you got the green card through family petition. It doesn't matter whether it's regular marriage case or good evening or VAWA, because at some point, keep in mind, VAWA green card is still the same. It's green card is a green card is a green card. It is, categories obviously are different on the green card, but it is still a family-based petition in the sense of it's still marriage-based. The only difference between a regular marriage case and a VAWA case is, rather than have your spouse petition for you, you are petitioning on your own, but you still require to prove qualifying relationship. Qualifying relationship basically means that not just that you are married to the abusive spouse, or you were married, either that you were married, or you're divorced, but the divorce has not been more than 2 years, but you have the marriage certificate. But you also have to prove qualifying relationship requires that you prove that any previous marriages that you have were legally terminated, just the same way you would prove it in a regular marriage case. So the only difference is, like I said, you are not needing your spouse to submit. So you're just a solo petitioner, but submitting the same evidence in addition to abuse. That's basically what VAWA is. So that's why majority of the number one reason why VAWA petitions are denied for Nigerians is divorce decree. That's the number one reason. And that's because if they're not, especially if it's a high court. Now, keep in mind, customary court decrees now are being verified. They're starting to verify those. And I said that so many times. I've said it God knows how many times, like y'all switch from a high court to now customary court. So now they've caught on with that. And now they're verifying customary court, because you have to remember, those are still physical places with paperwork. Best practice is just get yourself an affidavit. So it can be, because when you have your VAWA case, one of the things they had to verify, or one of the things you had to prove, was that any previous marriage was legally terminated. So the same divorce document you use in the VAWA petition obviously is going to be the same one you're going to use in the naturalization application. And we are seeing that USCIS they're reviewing your entire file when you apply for naturalization, if you in fact had a Nigerian divorce decree. And so if they missed whatever it is back then, they are using naturalization basis to look into that, regardless of your eligibility ground. It doesn't matter if it's military 3 years married, a union, 5 years, it doesn't matter. As long as you got the green card through marriage and you submitted a divorce document, they have a right to review that, because one of the requirements is you've got to prove that you were lawfully admitted as a legal permanent resident. So that's that. Okay, my brother brought his wife over to the United States through marriage and wants to divorce. My brother wants to divorce. Who wants to divorce? TK. Is it possible they can divorce in the United States instead of going back to Africa for their divorce? As long as, first of all, and this is now, I cannot speak to any other country. I can speak to Nigeria because, number one, I'm Nigerian. Number two, because I have invested my time, especially because I never knew. Listen, I look back on some of my cases, and I want divorce decree means they're going to start submitting with cases. I never used to ask my clients, like, hey, where did you get your divorce? Like, if you got divorced from the moon, just give me a divorce document to submit at the end of story. But now, based on what we're seeing is what I call an epidemic, I ask people even before I take on your case, hey, I need to see your divorce documents. If it's from Nigeria, I need to see it. So we review that. And so that's just what we're seeing. But if you, and so one of the things about Nigerian divorce is this: in order for you to use a divorce document from Nigeria, unless, and I'm talking specific, for instance, from High Court, one of the requirements is you must have been domiciled in Nigeria at the time the petition was filed. So meaning that if you are going to be a petitioner, so in your case, TK, if both of them are here, one of them must have been physically present and residing in Nigeria at the time the divorce was filed. If they've been here for at least 6 months, they cannot qualify. That would be a red flag. That would be neon red flag from like 200 miles away. And so if they've been here for at least 6 months, most states that require residency, for instance, in Alabama, for you to file for divorce in Alabama, you must have been a resident of the state of Alabama for at least 6 months. Nobody asks you whether you're an immigrant or not. Now, can some states start doing that? I won't be surprised. But that's not a requirement for you to file divorce. So as long as they have satisfied the residency requirement in the state they live in, there's no reason why they should go back to Nigeria to file for divorce, especially if they're looking to file in high. Now, if you are doing a customary dissolution, for instance, if they had a traditional marriage, what we call an engagement, and they're doing a customary dissolution and they're already here, obviously you can have family members have a meeting, dissolution meeting back home where the dowry is returned. There's a meeting, walk with, that's all right. You want to know we're going a separate ways. Okay, and these are part of the goods. You talk what that if you Russia, if you lost your one, the kind of thing, and then the end of story. So that is traditional. That's done back home, and so they don't have to be present. It's just there's some details that have to be in an affidavit. But if you're looking to do and another error that a lot of people make, hear me loud and clear. If you hear nothing else tonight, even as we celebrate independence in our country, hear me loud and clear. If you had a customary marriage, I want to suffering from on the street, like I like to get something from the court, even if you didn't have a civil marriage. Please understand they have misled people into denials. They have led people and misled them into denials. Because if you did not have a statutory marriage and you get a high court decree and somebody just got it from you from, about in the high court, which doesn't exist, but that's what they put as something. And the mechanism, so for instance, I had a conversation with a lady who got a high court decree because I won't call anything about Maryland. This one lives in Maryland. Financially, and I'm not saying it's financial, I'm just saying financially lives in Maryland. And you Maryland people roll eyes. And I know why I'm rolling eyes, because we know there was a case that started from there, but I roll my eyes again. But anyway, they told this lady that, she couldn't file her papers because she actually had an Islamic marriage. And they told her she couldn't file. The Maryland people told her that she couldn't file her papers. She had to get something in writing from the court. So they got her she somehow got a high court decree, right? Unfortunately for her, on the decree nisi, they indicated, because one of the requirements is the decree nisi would specify where the marriage occurred. The marriage are dissolving. Where did it occur? So it says, this lady and from her husband spouse had celebrated a nikah in 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕 local government, Kwara State. Violation marriage nikah, and then you go to the high court to dissolve an Islamic marriage when it has no jurisdiction to do so. Neon red flag. And lo and behold, her Vawa case was denied. Why? Because they saw like, hold up, this doesn't make any sense. So people who tell you you have to get something in writing from the high court, or else you can file, please understand that they're going to lead and mislead you into a denial. If you did not have a statutory marriage, meaning a registered marriage, you've got no business in the high court. Just to be very clear. Okay. What do you think about requests, submitting a request for Foyer for AOS with this present administration? There's no big deal about it. I'm doing a whole lot more Foyers now than before, because I don't want to have any surprises, especially with this administration. By chance, do you know if USCIS has a charge for Foyer requests and how much? Please, they do not. They can, but generally they do not. They tell you that you could, they could send your fee to pay, but if that starts happening, I won't be surprised. But knock on wood, I've not had to pay. The only time I've had to pay for Foyer was not with USCIS, it was a different agency. So, and which wasn't a whole lot. I think it was $25 or something. But USCIS generally, they've not had to. They haven't charged, but they can. Okay, you're welcome. All right, let's see. Greetings. Hello, Ms. Zoe. How are you? I think I responded to your email. I believe I did. I think. I am doing well. Ceronic braiding styles. Okay. Anything about how long anything is taking? USCIS.gov/processing times. My husband is super terrified to apply for citizenship to the point that he wants to wait until this admin is out. There's no reason to be super terrified unless there's a reason for him to be super terrified. In order to figure out if there's actually a reason for him to be super terrified, then let him sit down with a lawyer and review his file and see if there's anything that is a basis for being terrified. If there isn't, it's not a big deal, Yay, Daca is back. So I haven't put anything as far as Daca is back because there isn't anything specific yet confirming that. There was the court order from yesterday saying that, the only injunction regarding Daca should be restricted to the state of Texas, and that should not be, and especially it was coming out of what, and I guess the Supreme Court decision regarding birthright citizenship saying that the injunction cannot be nationwide. And so based on that premise is why there was a lawsuit filed, and the court decided yesterday that in that case, then the injunction as far as no new Daca being filed should be limited to just Texas, and every other eligible applicants in other states should be able to go ahead with do that. Now, I wanted the reason why we haven't put any post up because it's still very, very new. We don't know if DHS is going to appeal. We don't know how that's going to come into play. We don't know if that's going to allow people to now start filing new. So yes, it's great news, but proceeding with treading with a lot of caution here, just because the one thing I don't you guys, if you follow what you follow, know that if we're putting up a post, I have to verify. We've got someone who helps us to do our social media, but I have to review because it's legal information. Hey, Miss Joanne, how are you? We're still waiting on you. Are you back yet? Let's get this. Oh, by the way, we would not be able to use checks for filing fees starting October 29. So we have to get that out before then because of what you sent us. So just an FYI. So we love to have to verify the information before it goes on our page. There's quite a lot of wrong information out there, and the last I don't play with my reputation. That's the one thing about me. I like, it's just because once you miss your reputation of that's it. So for me, if we're putting up any information out there, it's got to be something that I already verified, especially when you're dealing with legal information, which is what I do. So that's why I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but I'm just trying to be careful. But once I get the confirmation from our association, then we would be able to talk more about that. All right, thank you. Sounds good. We'll be expecting to hear back from you. I hope you had a wonderful time. I'm so happy for you. Okay. Do I have to pay the $100 fee if my case is pending an appeal? So I couldn't tell you yes or no, to be honest with you. But for those who are with the government shutdown, will it affect cases with immigration? It potentially will, because there's some, for instance, they have to renew EB4 category. It has to be extended as far as it needs Congress action. So yes, Congress shutdown affects immigration. It doesn't affect USCIS per se, in the sense of USCIS is not funded by it's self-funded because it's primarily funded by fees. But when it comes to extension of certain acts or certain laws and all that, laws are passed by Congress. So with the government shutdown, that affects some parts of immigration. But as far as immigration, if asylum cases, if your case is pending, I think as of October 2024, starting tomorrow, you're going to be required to pay $100 per year. We do not have any clear instructions as to how that's going to, as of the time it came on tonight. No clear instructions to how that's going to be paid. Are they going to send notifications? Are they going to send? But as the days go by, once we get clear instructions from USCIS, we'll pass the message across. We're based in Baba. We're based in Alabama, but we're representing immigration clients in all states. Can a person under asylum play lottery visa? And you can, a person anywhere can play it. The question is, can you get a green card based on if you get selected? And if you got an asylum case pending without any other backup status, most likely you're not going to be eligible just as, because the asylum pending is an authorized stay. It's not a valid non-immigrant status. Do not repeat your questions, please. Okay, so add sexy. I was going to answer your question, but you decided to repeat it. So if I'm not answering your question on TikTok, especially, it's because you repeated the question. What happens if I get denied for DACA? Your best, you just have to figure out what your options are after a denial, and your best option is to obviously sit down with the lawyer to figure that out. That's a very, very open and broad question. Okay, so this question has been repeated several times and we skipped. It's more than 3 years now. Someone found Vawa. What can she do? 3 years is Vawa cases are taking 43 months, just the petition itself. So that's still within normal processing time. If I apply for citizenship, do I need to disclose all tickets since I got my green card? If I play it safe, I do. I just tell my clients to give me proof that they paid their fines, because even though a traffic violation is not going to is not, it's not a criminal offense per se. Depending on the DUI becomes a criminal offense depending on how many times. But if failure to pay your fines may be deemed to be something, may be deemed to result in being found to lack good moral character. So you just have to be careful with that. What do I do if I have my interview in a few weeks? Get a lawyer. My I-130 was withdrawn by my spouse. How soon can we refile? Why did they withdraw? They're filing for you again. Why did they withdraw in the first place? There's no time frame for when you can refile. But I'm curious to know why they withdrew in the first place. Because are they going to do it the second time? Is it a manipulation thing? Is it an abuse situation? You may want to speak with a lawyer before you allow them to control your immigration status once again. Okay, alrighty. Is 28 months too long waiting for I-130? USCIS.gov/processing times. Sister Lawyer, a friend of mine got his citizenship with Niger divorced last week. Nobody's saying people. Okay, so I'm not really sure how people. And I know we process information differently, but I'm very clear and I'm very certain that I've not said, town one, I haven't said anywhere that you can't get your citizenship because you had a Nigerian divorce decree. Not one time have I said anything like that. So if you want to be, because that's how people spread incorrect information. A lot of people get divorced in Nigeria. The fact that you have a Nigerian divorce decree does not mean your divorce decree is not genuine. So the fact that you have a Nigerian divorce decree does not mean you're not going to get your citizenship. A lot of citizens actually got green cards using Nigerian divorce decree as proof of termination of marriage. Clearly, what has been exactly, because that's how people just make conclusions that are untrue and incorrect. What has been said is, if your divorce decree is questionable, if there are things that may become an issue, for instance, the ground of your divorce states, no more love. That would have worked 10 years ago. In 2020, nobody was checking anything. In 2019, no one. But if it says no more love in 2025, it's going to be a red flag, even if it's the same thing you used to get the green card, and they are catching up to that. If your divorce decree was done through the court, you went through 3-4 years of divorce, you've got irretrievable breakdown of marriage, you've got a judgment of divorce, everything is trackable, you've got it online. There is nothing they're going to find. Nothing stops you from becoming a citizen. So please get your information correctly. And if you're not sure, go back and watch the video so you are very clear on what was stated without, I'm sure I'm very clear on my videos without any issues. So don't say something that is not, that's half correct. I have my interview coming up, but I haven't received my work permit to change my ID. What's your question? Okay. Yeah, when you pass on that information, be clear on what it is, because you're making it come across like, so somebody got their citizenship with Nigerian divorce. Of course, they can get the citizen with Nigerian divorce. Why would they not? I mean, so because that's almost saying that if you have a Nigerian divorce decree, then oh no, it must have been fake. Anyone applying for green card are required to pay $100 or only for one. It's not about a green card. It's about those who have pending asylum applications as of that particular, I think, October 2024. Okay. Can I get a U.S. divorce decree if I want to divorce my wife back home? Yes, you can, as long as you have satisfied the residency requirement in your state that you live in. And it depends on the kind of divorce you should get. If you didn't have a court marriage or registry marriage and he had a customary marriage, then that's usually done with an affidavit. I'm very, very particular about information. So that I know you probably didn't, but because there's so much misinformation out there that and someone is going to be listening now. Someone says, "Oh, I have a divorce," and especially for instance, a lady came on earlier and said, "My husband is terrified about filing for citizenship." And maybe because he used the Nigerian divorce decree, but because you have a Nigerian divorce decree doesn't mean it was fake. It's just that evaluate your documents. So I always say I don't authenticate documents, but I've sent so many, so I can tell you, okay, this is going to be a problem. But the fact that it may potentially be a problem does not mean it's going to be a problem. So you're very clear, and people are not afraid to file for citizenship that they actually qualify for just because they submitted a Nigerian divorce decree without qualifying what may be the problem. Let this here go, Jerry. I'm telling you, it's been an interesting year. And Miss Abena, we miss Miss Abena. Whoever it's I think I'll send her. It's football and okay. Stop it. Yes, we represent immigration clients in all states. It doesn't matter what state you live in. Please share this video. You might be helping someone who has nowhere else to look for immigration advice, and that's absolutely planning my trip to Nigeria. Please say hello to everybody there for us. Hello, Miss Yabo. How are you? And happy new month. It's a month of divine remembrance. I love that. I love that. Please be merciful to me. Who's that? Please be merciful to me. I don't know who that is. I'm a very, very compassionate person. Merciful. I don't know who that is. Hi, Miss Nilechi. Happy birthday. I hope you had a wonderful birthday. Pretty lady. I hope you had a wonderful, wonderful birthday. God, please cover Nigeria under your wings. Yes. Yes. Prayer never fails. Sister Lawyer doesn't play with that tracking. That's really hard. I put myself in people's shoes. For instance, I had a case that went out today, and I know she's been anxious about whether or not her case was going to make it out today. And as soon as we got the tracking, that tracking got to me, I forwarded it to her because I know, just like there's just so much anxiety, and that's understandable, So we try. What can one do without a Nigerian NPC birth certificate not older than 18 but born after 1992? Used for birth, it doesn't matter. I know that it's the states specifically about for those born prior to 1992 or something or before 1980. I had a client who was born. Mr. U.O. was born. He didn't fall within the age whatever, but that's what we use. I highlight that, hey, we can use birth attestation. I just leave that part of the year, and don't jinx it for us. It's worked. So I'm a citizen for about 6 years now, but I never include my daughter in any of my paperwork. Can there be any solution? Why didn't you include your daughter in any of your paperwork? She's now 12, and I'm guessing you want to file for exit. Exactly what I said. Now you want to bring her to the U.S. Where? But please tell me you're the dad, not the mom, because if you are the mom and you didn't include your child, you're my little experience. Adebayo, are you the dad? Well, I guess I don't even know if Adebayo is your last name. So if you'll confirm. Okay. Hello, Miss Amosu. How are you? I submitted my vow application on May 12th, since May 23rd, but didn't receive the receipt. No, what is the reason? How much will it take? What time will it take for my work? Like, we're just getting receipt notices for cases filed in April. So you're still good. You're still good. 922. Please do not repeat questions. Okay, all right, perfect. Avina ready. If I knew you repeated your questions, I would have skipped it altogether. Oh Lord. Thank you, Mr. Sanctuary. She never said Nigerian divorce is not acceptable. I have cases, Miss Adibanke's case we just got approved for divorces from Nigeria. And that's why I ask potential clients like, hey, where did you get your divorce done in Nigeria? Okay, let me see a copy of your divorce decree. And if it's, we go through, what is supposed to be there. If you have no kids listed in your decree NIC, and then you've got a date under section 57 on your decree absolute, that's a red flag. So things that become red flags, you just want to avoid. And so, but if there's no reason, hello, Mr. Henry, there's no reason to have any red flag. Okay, yeah, we're good to go. So just don't generalize and make people think, because everyone is going to be like, oh, people already have enough reasons to have sleepless nights. There's no reason to add more to that. That's all. She said, be sure you get it through the right channel and that is registered appropriately. Enough said. Thank you. Some people know how to listen but don't understand how and know how to digest the information, so they end up spreading false. You never said no one would it. So, and especially, when people are already terrified, that's just worrisome. You're just going to make them just decide that the lady who says my husband's terrified, he's probably going to hear like, what, I'm not even going to file and lose out on being a citizen. Yeah. Thanks for the help you did for us. Thank you. Oh, Mr. Shibera, yes, I turned you down, and I'm sure you know why I turned you down. I'm very, very compassionate, but I don't like people wasting my time. And we're just gonna leave it as that. But I'm sure you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. I did. You're welcome, Miss Nelechi. I'm married here in the U.S. March 2013, and girlfriend had a baby April. I filed June, so to avoid complications, I couldn't add her. Okay, so you're the dad. You are a guy, so you're the dad of the 12-year-old, right? Okay, you said yes. Okay. I know. What do you mean? To avoid complications, I couldn't add her. I'm married here in 2013. Okay. My girlfriend had a baby. Oh, okay. It took me a while then. Like I said, I'm tired. I'm tired. I see what's going on. Well, ṣe ti bá lọ́yà sọ̀rọ̀? Ó ti yé mi. Ẹ lọ bá lọ́yà sọ̀rọ̀. I mean, if you want to schedule a consultation and we can talk. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Okay. What are you dusting off your uh yes, if you go on our website, olalayalawfirm.com, hello, Mr. Tola, you basically schedule one. And I'm sure you will show up for your appointment. You have to before you file anything. Yeah, so but schedule and talk to your lawyer in all seriousness. Talk to your lawyer first, and see what can be done. The leftover of the two. So, um, let's dust it. But Mr. Adebayo, seriously, we'll be glad to talk with you. Okay. Will my husband be able to get his citizenship if we don't live together due to his H-2B program? As long as you have enough evidence to prove your good faith evidence. So your husband is not in stage of citizenship now. If he's on an H-2B program, he has not even received a green card. So you're not even in citizenship level yet. You're talking about green. I'm assuming you mean green card. So living together, okay. Caitlin, I was going to answer your question, but since you decided to repeat the question several times, I'm just going to stop and move into something else. Please do not repeat questions. Please do not repeat your questions. I just got my medical examination through. What percentage of immigration approves green? I can tell you, I can speculate to something I don't know about. F1 students cannot work after completion. With OPT, you can. You have to apply for OPT. Okay. Yeah, that's my child. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's see. How long is Vawa taking in 2025? 43 months from when you filed. Alrighty. Insistent lawyer's reaction. Listen, what they do, I'm going to say, let me just make you better make him alone. Just go, I think, and I'm hungry to say this, but I'm glad we'll be able to. Yes, Mr. Adebayo, if you go on olalayalawfirm.com, or send a text message to Lydia on WhatsApp, it's 334-341-4475, and she will be able to send you the consultation information. Oh yeah, listen, his town. Let me carry my bag and go. But I'm glad these are really great questions, but I want to be very clear on something. Because someone has an issue does not mean you're going to have the same issue. So and going back to the divorce decree issue, it's what I call an epidemic with Nigerians. Birth certificates, another thing that USCIS is starting with, and all that. So if you submit, for instance, if you don't have the long form birth certificate, make sure you're submitting the accurate documents when it comes to using the alternative documents, which is the birth attestation, and the declaration that goes hand in hand with that. You're also including information from the Department of State, so that they're not all immigration officers. A lot of them don't even know where to find the resources. So that's one of the things we do. For instance, if we're going to use a replacement or a substitute document, we'll print out where it is saying that you can use this document for this person that comes from this. Like, for instance, Miss Nicholson, she's Jamaican. She had an I-130 approved. And then I-45 was denied, and it was denied because the she changed her name. And when she filed on her own, and they denied it because she didn't submit the doc. She just did a change of name from her that her mother gave her. Her mother had passed away, so they denied her case. Her motion to reopen was denied, and then she came to us, and had to go to the Department of State, now go through what was required for someone from Jamaica to. So it's a process, just making sure that you know what your case requires. You know the documents is required for your case. But the fact that this is what someone needs in their case does not mean it's going to be the same thing for your case. So don't generalize. So the fact that someone has an issue with some documentation in their application doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a problem with yours. And this is a good example of running your own race. Be proactive, check your documents. That's one thing I've always talked about before you file. Because once you file your application, you cannot substitute documents. They're going to deny your case and you won't have any other option but to start all over again. So you're better off reviewing what you have. You're not, don't be penny wise pound foolish. Don't try to save money from like and like law school so that we can be giving services for free. I know any families that born now. Just like you go to work and you get paid as a nurse, as a doctor, as an IT tech, whatever the case may be. Attorneys go to law school so they can get paid for, but because you don't want to pay an attorney and you take the risk and then they deny your case, and you're going to end up paying the attorney more than what you should have paid the first time. It doesn't take anything to get the right information, just so you are on the right path before you file your case, and then you can file your case with ease. If it's something where you can get an opportunity to correct that issue before you file, it's better to do that than to file and then USCIS has your record already, and then you're risking the chance of being placed in removal proceedings just because your case gets denied for something that could happen easily fixed. That's all this is all about. But anyway, but in all seriousness, we thank God for the month of September. It's been a very eventful month, especially in the United States, with a whole lot of stuff going on. As we go into October, as we go towards the end of the year, prayers are needed more now than ever. Asking God for his grace, for his protection, speaking permanent protection by the blood of Jesus upon our lives, upon our children, upon our loved ones, our families, our friends, far and near, wherever they may be, that God's guidance and protection will keep us the rest of the year. We will not end with the year. We shall not end with the year. Our loved ones shall not end with the year. We would see the many years to come as we start a new month. May his grace be more than sufficient for us. May his grace go before us, his favor speak on our behalf. And when we be permanently protected, shielded and guided and encompassed by the fire of the Holy Ghost. And may God's hand continue to be with us, that evil will not grieve us, and keep us from harm, keep us from every tragedy. Every appointment that the enemy has made on our behalf, with tragedy, with sorrow, with death, we cancel that the rest of the year. We cancel it for October, November, December, forever. That we would leave the number of our days we shall fulfill. We will not come to this foreign land and toil and labor in vain. We would reap the benefits, the rewards of our labor, and God will crown all our efforts with success. It would not be in vain. So shall it be for us. A happy new month, everyone. Happy new month, and happy Independence Day, my fellow Nigerians. I'll see you guys on Thursday by God's grace. Bye, everyone.